that brings me to the next question, which is a bit of an extension but different. Um, Sorry, I didn't kind of pull the diaries out here for this one, but I have these two diaries that I've been carrying for the last 26 years. I don't know if I
Mm.
mentioned it last time around.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So that's where my next question comes. So when you look back at your life, and if you were to share with me and teach me one of the best lessons you've learned, what might that lesson be?
I think we talked about this already. That is the fact what my dad shared on stage that day. That was probably the biggest learning I've had. That uh, a sense of contentment that doesn't conflict with ambition, right? You can be ambitious for the right things, and you can be content about the right things. When those two are in concert with each other, actually, there's it's a huge unlock in your life in terms of uh, being able to bring your best self and unleash your potential. For me, that was probably the biggest eye opener, because the simplicity of how much freedom you get if you're contented about certain things that don't matter, and if you're very greedy and ambitious for things that do matter, and figuring out in your life what it is that matters and what doesn't matter. I think some of these are universal. Actually, everybody says, "Oh, it's different for each person. Some people need this, some people need that." I think those wants are sometimes confused with needs. Human needs are, I think, universal in some sense, and wants are very varied, and the intensity of the want usually overwhelms the need, in a way where you confuse your want with your need. And being able to do that through this combination of contentment and being, yeah, I would say, unsatisfied by the status quo on certain aspects, has made my dad who he is, and made him lead the life that he has led, where he has really impacted so many people. I would say thousands of people positively. And in learning about that, in some small way, made me feel, made me become that kind of a person where I've been able to impact maybe tens of people positively. I mean, I can't be thousands like my dad, but it has been that. And there are multiple places where I see evidence of this, and it's to my great satisfaction when that happens. Um, when I said goodbye to PayPal, I wrote a very evocative, heartfelt, affection filled post on LinkedIn. And it's one of the highlighted posts on my profile. And to my great, I would say, pleasure and happiness, there was an outpouring of affection on that post by people who I had the pleasure of working with. And all of them were deeply loving messages, honestly. And I have screenshotted all of them, and I've saved them for posterity, because anytime I'm having a bad day, I look at that and say, what I learned from my dad actually led to this. It is a direct consequence of that. Yesterday, I was out at lunch somewhere, and this kind of a thing happens to me very regularly. It's almost comical, but it's also one more evidence of this impact. People that I don't know will come up to me and say, "You're Guru Bhat, right?" And I say, "Yeah." And they say, "Oh, we follow you on LinkedIn, and oh, we worked with you in PayPal. You don't know us, but we were on the greater team, and we just absolutely love you and all of that." Like it. And one person posted yesterday. They took a picture and said, "Is it okay if we share this, because all of our families know about you. We've talked about you so much with them." I was so grateful. I've never met these people in my life. The fact that they would come and actually express this affection and say that they've even talked to about me with their families. I don't know what I've done to deserve it, honestly, because I've not even interacted with them, and I don't know. But it's just goes to show how that one thing that my dad shared about just being nice to everybody and being content with what you have, and then always trying to do something in service of others, can lead to a magical life. I'm living that, like, through these small things, I'm living that experience. And I couldn't be I actually I don't crave. People say, what is your career ambition? expecting me to say I would love to get promoted to VP sometime, whatever, right? Like I was a VP at PayPal, I want to be a VP at Go. I don't have any such ambition. I'm actually quite very happy with where I am. I actually would be okay if this is where my career ends and I end up working for the next 10, 12 years in this position. What I do want is to feel important and impactful every day. The title, all of those don't matter to me at all anymore. Like I just don't care about it. I want to be paid fairly for the effort I put in. I'm not even looking for like a king's ransom as a salary or anything like that. I've made enough money to lead a comfortable life. I don't need any of that. I just uh, enjoy doing what I do, and I want to be respected. I want to be, made use of. Like I would find it criminal if I couldn't make use of the things I've learned and can do. But other than that, I don't have any, and that has to come from what my dad shared.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
As I was listening to you, three things that struck me, which I want to share back with you. You know, most of the time people are struggling to make sense of dilemmas, which are nothing but two polarities.
Yeah.
One of those polarities is about, contentment and ambition. And people think one at the cost of other is how it says. But in NLP, we have a concept called parts integration, where we integrate both the parts. And a gentleman named Bosco de Mello, who I got to know thanks to a senior friend called Arun Vishnath. He once did a session for us as part of the trainers forum called polarity management, which is also about, how do you integrate both the polarities so that they,
Mm,
seem opposite or, negating each other, but the best of both can come out. And I think it's
mm,
a great example of that framework or that approach, what you just shared about how your father was able to, live that life, like you told me last time, and
mhm.
how you've been able to pick it up and continue from there. And I think the yardstick is the right set of questions. What are the right things to be content about, and what are the right things to be ambitious about? I think it's
Mm,
the word right is a qualifying differentiator, the way I see that.
yeah.
I think that will help a lot of people who will be watching this video in the times to come to find their own, I think, contentment and their own balance and their own answers within. And
Yeah.
that's the first thing that struck me. The second thing you said that you often wonder what have you done that makes people say or share your stories with their families. I think I can maybe hazard a guess there. A lot of people have not experienced positivity and hope and clarity the way they desire.
Yeah.
Their contrasting life is what makes what you did stand out for them as a beacon, and which
Yeah.
is why it has so much of significance for them. And therefore, so much of resonance and meaning is how I see that. In September this year, I was doing a session for one of the GMI's clients in Mumbai, and Prasenjit was there, Dalreen was there, and at the end of day one, we all decided to have dinner together to discuss the day, and because it was a high stakes session there. And Dal asked me a question, and she said, Shri, and my colleague Sushil was also there. So she asked both of us, and she said, Shri, when you do the work you do for us in the Great Manager Institute, the sessions that you keep doing, what drives you, what motivates you to do that? And I said, my own experience with the managers got to work with, the best and the worst, and
Yeah.
the great managers I had, the associated experiences around that is what inspires me to do the work that GMI has as a mission, which is to ensure that every person gets to work with at least one great people manager in their lifetime.
Mm,
And that's what drives me, that's what motivates me to kind of do this work.
mm,
So I think there again, what I was speaking from was the contrast part. What you've
yeah.
not experienced, what you've not seen, when you experience it or receive it or see in another person, I think that fulfills them in a way. That meets maybe one of their deepest core needs, maybe of trust, hope, stability, or compassion, and which
Yeah.
is what therefore the outpouring happens as. And the third thing I want to kind of share with you as I was listening to you, um, you know, and again I can't help it because like I said, I look at everything through the lens of strength psychology.
Yeah.
In the Gallup Clifton Strengths Assessment, there are 34 talent themes, and one of the most misunderstood themes there is called significance. And one of the aspects of significance is people with high significance, they would like to have the spotlight on them, or they would like to They have the natural talent to be in the spotlight, and that's what brings out the best in them. But it's
Mm,
one of the most misunderstood talent themes. And the
mm,
example of this was Dr. Donald Clifton himself, who created this assessment. He had significance in his top five. And the way he looked at significance is again how you described what matters for you. Do you get
yeah,
to do a job that has a positive impact on people?
yeah.
Whether you crave for that spotlight or not is immaterial. And in
Mm,
that sense, for me, the answer you shared again is a good example to quote on the positive side of significance.
yeah. No, thank you.
So
Yeah.
thank you.
What I'm amazed by is how observant you are. Like you were able to pick up in the course of a real-time conversation so many things that I would need like reflection later to pick up. You're able to pick it up in real time. Like that's a skill I need to learn.
No, I think maybe thankfully because over the last 24 years, I've put in the effort to sharpen my listening skills.
Ah,
More than a skill, it's a willingness I've seen.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Secondly, as I look back at the comments and observations I've received from people, I think I can correlate it back to my talent theme called individualization. So where people with individualization, we find it very natural to get curious about people, be observant about them, to find out what's unique about them. And maybe I think that's where these questions also I was able to frame a few years back.